Hi guys, right, I finally bought one of these. So this is the Canon 5D Mark III with an L lens. So bought one of these, and first reviews is it's not obviously the Canon 5D Mark IV, but however, for the price, in terms of the price, I paid £650. As opposed to £2,500 for a Canon 5D Mark IV. And I'll be honest with you, the L lens on this, it's a 24 to 105mm L lens, so it's top of the spec glass, to tell you the truth. Again, sort of recondition, £300 for that. So really good price. So from my last video, I sort of talked about maybe you should think about getting a second-hand camera. Well, I've actually gone and bought one of these. So this is my review of this particular model. It's very well built, very sturdy, very sort of strong in terms of the way it's produced. The lens is obviously top of the spec. ISO is amazing. What I like about this one as well is the fact that the menu is very similar to the 7D, the 750D, and also sort of lower models before that as well, 500 and 600 and 850 as well. So there's not much difference in terms of menu. It's very similar to all the different menus that I've used before. So you're not suddenly using something that's indifferent. These settings here are very similar as well. So you've got all your settings that you might have been used to in terms of your shutter speed, your f-stop, your ISO, your Q button. So again, to get to that, it's essentially just click on your Q button and it will take you to this menu. So you've got your menu over here and you've got your Q button over here. So when you want to go to, it's there, it's all there. It's got your digital viewfinder and your hot shoe as well. Like other models, this particular camera doesn't have a flash, so you're not going to be able to use a flash, so you might need an external flash gun in order to be able to get external light. But the ISO is so high on this, it's unbelievable. So if I click on the Q button, and just go to the ISO, you can see it goes all the way up to 100. Well, it keeps going basically, to tell you the truth, right up to 128,000 ISO. So in terms of sensitivity of light, that's quite high. I don't know how high you can go beyond that. So yeah, it's a very well. The build quality is really good. It's quite heavy, so when you lift it, it is quite heavy. However, in terms of build quality, you want a sturdy camera. This is probably going to be my last DSLR. Obviously, like my last video, I was sort of kind of toying between whether to go down a mirrorless route or a DSLR, but just because of the sheer price of this in comparison to maybe an R6, which is £2,500 with similar ISO, maybe not the 4K filming capabilities, it makes logical sense to go down a high-spec DSLR, which is reconditioned, reused, where you're paying half the price as opposed to paying £2,500 for an R6. So my thinking is that I've bought this for £1,000, and I could probably resell this in a year's time for £800 and get a whole year's use out of it, and still be able to resell at a high premium price. So if you're in the market to get yourself a DSLR and you want to go high-end pro, you might want to think about whether you want to spend £2,500 or get a reconditioned one and still have the same quality. So this is not on the market. You can't buy this brand new anymore because obviously the Canon 5D Mark IV's out, but the Canon 5D Mark IV came out in 2016. So like I said in my last video, Canon, Nikon, even Sony are starting to decline on the DSLR market and going into the mirrorless. So if you're looking to get a new camera but don't want to spend ridiculous amounts of money in terms of the thousands, get yourself a reconditioned one. This has got 40,000 shutter count. If you don't know what shutter count, it's basically the amount of times this has been, a picture's been taken. Ultimately, that's not determining how much filming is done on that, but a 40,000 shutter count is practically brand new. So when you're buying one of these, you might want to also consider, if you're buying a second-hand one, is look at the buttons, look at how much functionality, how much of this is being used. So when I was looking at this in the store, I really did look at these, and I sort of played around with all the settings to ensure that this camera was okay. Even the L lens, you know, we sort of, you know, we took the lens out, we checked the lens, and yes, just to make sure that everything was correct. But you know, top of the range camera. The only disadvantages I can see at the moment is the fact that I haven't got 4K, and I haven't got you know, touchscreen. So you know, all the touchscreen things. But the high ISO, the amazing L lens, the lens I've got, the sensor, it's full frame. This will probably last me another 3 years professionally. So it is a professional camera. It's not an entry-level camera. You know, and it is still very, very, very viable within the world of filming and videography. So if you're looking to do short filmmaking, or you're looking to make music videos, for example, you know, go online and have a look at Recondition one. And you know, I bought this about a week ago, and this is just a little kind of entry review that I'm doing at the moment. You know, in terms of flash cards, it uses compact flash, it uses SD. So if you want to go down the compact flash route, if you want to go down the SD route, it gives you that dual usage of SD cards. The focal point is amazing. You've got 61 focal points on this. So you know, if you're kind of like really crazy about focus of imagery, which a lot of people are, tell you the truth, that, you know, they've got this kind of thing about, are my pictures in focus? Are my pictures in focus? Well, this camera's got 61 focal points, so and it allows you to hover through your focal points like this, and you can also click on this button here, and it will take you to the main menu. And if you click on this button here, it'll take you back to your focal points, and you can literally just sort of select which ones you want. So it's really, really good. So if you want, like, say for example, you got something in focus on this side, you can move it into this one. And I'm using AF selection focal points. You know, so you can flick through these things and pick the one that you want. So it's really, 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 you know, great for focusing. I think 61 focus points. Obviously, your R6 and your Sony A7 IIIR will have higher focus points, probably better slow-mo features, but in terms of the build quality and the ISO and the full frame and the L lens and the compact and SD card and the shutter count and also the professional features that you get in your menu, which I'll do another video on. I've not really gone through all these yet, so I've not really played around with them yet. There are a few that I've kind of figured out. There's a lot more features on this camera than the Canon 70, which I've been using for donkey's years. But now it's not like something I want to, you know, sort of talk about really. But on this camera, there's a lot more features, and a lot of these you might want to use, and some of them you might want to not use. So yeah, that's another video. But yeah, your menu is, like I said, like older version. It's just not touchscreen, but you know, it does the job anyway. So this is my first little review of this Canon 5D Mark III. There is a 4 as well. It is a second-hand one that I've purchased, and I'll be honest with you, like in comparison to the high-end cameras, it's still a Rolls Royce of cameras, so it is worth looking at one of these if you're looking on the market to get a new camera in terms of a professional one. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.